That's a great result. You did really well. I don't think we can have any complaints with that performance.
It's time for us to renegotiate your contract. Here you can see the current deal. Once negotiations begin, the team will make you an offer. You can accept if you like, but I strongly suggest we push for better terms.
What is up, guys, and welcome back to a brand new video. Today we are back with F1 2019 career mode. Once again, we've got some contract negotiations to discuss, and it couldn't have come at a more perfect time, to be honest, after the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. Shout out to the last episode. You really need to see that episode to see what went down, because that was quite simply incredible. And as well, some incredible moves from the AI. My former teammate Lucas Weber, or Weber, people are now telling me to say, I'm saying Weber wrong, even though I heard David Croft say Weber, exactly like I'm saying. But maybe Crofty isn't my best point of reference on this one. But anyway, we're continuing to negotiate with Renault. We're arguing for better terms here. The expectations that the team set upon me were way too high. So we're lowering the expectations, and we're also including a few perks now, which should certainly help development.
Okay, that proposal looks good. It seems all parties are happy with the deal, so it'll commence at the next race weekend.
And next race weekend is the Spanish Grand Prix, which we are heading off to now. But before we do that, we need to spend some resource points. We're actually starting off this episode from the end of the last one, so we haven't actually moved on to the Spanish Grand Prix yet. So a couple of things we're going to amend is the rear downforce. We had a failed upgrade go wrong there. And we also have a powertrain upgrade, which we're going to do. 600 points left. We could do other full-on upgrades. We can't do a major upgrade, which I was looking at for the front downforce. So we're going to balance out the aero, and we're going to go for rear downforce, and we're going to move on to the Spanish Grand Prix weekend. But before we do that, we're actually going to change our helmet. I'm actually not that happy with the previous helmet I had, so I thought I'd change it up a little bit. And yeah, that's that. Bit of a yellow and black combination. There's like a star on the top of the helmet. So hopefully that kind of looks nicer with the Renault when we're riding on board. But yeah, I'm still kind of in a limbo phase because the game hasn't fully come out yet. I think it might actually come out tonight at midnight for the Legends Edition. So I'll be able to get some of the items that I want off of the Steam store. And then from there I can do whatever I want. But yeah, practice was an interesting one. We passed the practice programs, but like only barely. I was having some setup issues this weekend. I was running with my own custom setup, one that I've been, using for the whole of this season. But I got to practice 3 or whatever it was, and for whatever reason, I couldn't get through the high-speed corners anymore. Like, I was just losing the back end randomly. So I was like, okay, massively confused. Tried to, work my way around the setup, and in the end, I've just settled for going for the default setup for this weekend. So that is essentially what we're doing. Upgrade wise, we got more resource points from practice. We now have 795, but I actually think I'm going to wait until the end of the weekend to accumulate more points, and then we'll go for possibly a big boy downforce upgrade. We could also do a major weight reduction upgrade, which might be pretty tasty as well. But now it is time for qualifying. Sorry for the long strung out intro, but I just thought I'd do a bit of housekeeping, tell you guys what's happening with the career mode behind the scenes, and kind of bring you up to speed with everything that is happening. So heading into this weekend, difficulty is still okay. I need to clarify the difficulty because I've been chopping and changing it a lot over the course of the last 5 races, in the background. I think Baku, for reference, I ran 105 AI difficulty, both in qualifying and in the race, so there was no difficulty changes there. But for this weekend, I am going to run... Wait. No, actually, I understand what I'm trying to say here. I'm going to run 105 difficulty for qualifying, and then for the race, because we seem to be OP in the race these last few rounds, we're going to move the difficulty up to 110 because there just seems to be some real balancing issues with the AI at the moment. Circuit to circuit, you never quite know whether you're going to be on the pace or not, and consistently the last few rounds we've been nowhere in qualifying And in the race, I feel like we have been quite quick, but it's hard to tell whether I put that down to strategy or the AI being too slow or whatever. So we're just gonna have a hard reset this weekend, and especially with the default setup that we're running as well, it'll be a good guide as to where the AI truly stands in regards to us. But I still think there is a bit of balancing that needs to be done by Codemasters, hopefully on the day one patch, to level out the AI, because at the moment it's just a huge guessing game as to, you know, where you're going to be for pace in qualifying or the race. It's just a logistical nightmare. But qualifying 1, we managed to squeeze through there into P9, so we have got ourselves out of the first session, and for the first time in a while, I feel like I actually have some pace. Now, could put that down to the default setup. I actually did some additional testing as well. I've been doing the multiplayer weekly events, and I found that at Silverstone, the default setup was quite a lot faster than the setup I was running. So my head's all over the place, really, with the AI, with the setups. There's just so much stuff that is going on. Too many variables, really, to get a grasp of what is happening. So I think I just need to take a bit of a chill pill and get more experience with the game. But what I can say is that the AI are ridiculous in qualifying, and setups maybe aren't as good as what I thought they were, so default seems to be the best way to go for the moment. But anyway, qualifying 2, we just squeezed through into the next session. I say we just squeezed in positional wise, but I think we were like a good 3 or 4 tenths clear of Carlos Sainz, who was in P11. But heading into this final part of qualifying, we only have one set of soft compound tires, so we're only doing the one run here in this session. So if I can get anything above 10th, I feel like that's going to be, you know, just a bonus on top of making it into this session. I think my team goal is actually to get 9th in qualifying, so if I can manage that for the first time, I think ever, my team will be happy with my qualifying performance. So let's make sure we nail this. Really nice exit out of the final chicane, and up to the line. It is actually P9, so we have finally impressed the team. They are happy, despite me being 2 tenths away from Ricardo. I've been now qualified by him, but the pace is actually fairly balanced. So I think we might be onto something here with either the setup and the difficulty level, but just as a precaution, to make sure I don't get an elevated grid position, we're going to test 110 AI difficulty for this race. But bear in mind, in Australia, I went absolutely backwards. Hopefully that's not the case, and we can have a normal race. Let's see.
Well done. Very solid result. You're looking good for the race.
What does the Spanish Grand Prix have in store for us today, I wonder? I hope we see some tight wheel-to-wheel action down the main straight, circa Mansell and Senna way back in '91, or maybe we'll have a more strategic race here on a track where overtaking can be difficult. Anthony Davidson is here once again for today's Grand Prix. Let's start proceedings by talking about Lucas Weber. They're still relatively new to a sport which does have a high learning curve and, of course, little tolerance for mistakes.
That's right, it is a difficult environment to come into. In junior categories, you're competing against drivers with similar levels of experience, but some of these guys in Formula 1 have been there for over a decade. But I have to say, in this case, it's so far so good.
Right, let's be patient going into turn 1. We want to be in a good position for the rest of the race. Good luck.
Nah, screw it, Jeff. We're going full send. We're on 110 AI now. We can't be mucking around, otherwise we will literally fall backwards into this race. Matt, what are you saying? What should we do for this race? Thanks for that one, Matt. Really appreciate it. Looks like we're going for the 2-stop, so if Matt stuffs up the strategy, we're blaming him. So, 2-stop. Softs to mediums. This is the exact same strategy we got given to us for Australia. And in that race, we went backwards. So, hopefully that is not the case for us today. I feel like we've got a lot more momentum behind our side. I feel a lot more experience with this game now. So, fingers crossed, it can all work out for us. Away we go for the Spanish Grand Prix. And it looks like a pretty average start. The AI are really good at getting off the line. And we're getting absolutely swamped as we run into turn 1. Sergio up the inside. We've got Sainz on our left. And I just really had to thread the needle quite nicely there. I didn't have I didn't want to turn into anyone's line or run wide into Sainz's line because that would have just spelt disaster. Managed to get through, and we hold on to P9. Next up is former teammate Lucas Weber. Let's just say Weber from now on because that's a lot easier to say, and I feel like a lot less people in the comments will complain if I say Weber. Hopefully he can move to Red Bull, and then that would really confuse things, wouldn't it? But anyway, we're settling into this race, I think. We're getting attacked by Sergio here, so maybe we're not settling into it as nicely as what I would have liked, and there's a bit of an air gap forming to Weber up ahead, so let's hopefully close that, and Sergio can give me a bit of a break. One thing I've kind of noticed in these last few races is I hate racing with Force India. Absolutely hate it because they're so fast in a straight line and we're one of the slowest. It means that whenever we come to a straight, I'm getting attacked by those pink pelicans. So, pink flamingos. Yeah, they're flamingos. Pelicans aren't pink, but I just like saying pelican, so I'm gonna call them the pink pelicans. Yeah, let's go. Cool. Awesome. Yeah, Sergio is attacking us quite hard, and we're not able to run our own natural pace at this stage. We're having to constantly defend and almost look behind us to the point where we've completely lost touch with our teammate and Weber. Sergio's got us back, and it's just a nightmare here in the Spanish Grand Prix. We look set for a very long race ahead of us if the pace can't improve. I think, yeah, I can't really blame Sergio. Oh my god.
Make a mistake. We could still...
How did we survive that? How did we survive that? A, not running into a wall, and then 2, I think it was Sainz, swerving across us, hitting our front wing. Oh my god. That is insane. Look at this. Left rear out in the gravel, right rear out in the grass, and then front wing copping a battering from the McLaren.
Try to pick up your pace.
That is the closest call I think I've ever had on an F1 game. That's nuts. But anyway, yeah, I can't blame Sergio for attacking me for my lack of pace, because I'm still going backwards. The pace is just diabolical. So we're going to pit at the end of this lap. We're actually improving by 0.2 on this lap, but I'm in my head, I've already committed to diving in at the end of this lap. But looking at this and editing, I'm maybe realizing that I probably should have stayed out maybe an extra lap just to gauge what that lap was, because that was actually looking pretty good. But anyway, we've decided to move on to the mediums because the softs for us just aren't working. The only other time we've used softs in the race is Australia, and we also moved backwards there. So it's hard to say whether if it's a 110 difficulty thing or whether it's the soft compound tire is absolutely trash or not. But I've got to say, I feel so much more comfortable on the mediums and the hards in the race. I can't be the only one who feels that way. I also heard people in the beta saying similar things. But yeah, we'll see once everyone else gets the game and we can have a whole lot more data and feedback to really rely upon. But we're on the mediums now, and we can push on with this race, and we'll see what the pace is. Sergio has actually done the overcut on us. He's gone onto the hard compound tires, and he'll be quite annoying to overtake in this race because we're going to get some dirty air like you can see there. But he's going to be quite fast in a straight line. I've gone for the mantra of, yeah, the default setup, which is not the best for overtaking, I would say, because we're running with level downforce levels compared to other people, and with someone who's got a much better engine, it's going to be quite hard to get anything done in the overtaking zones, as you can see here, having to force Sergio to go defensive. Let's see if we can get a better run on him through turn 3. In the dirty air, it's just very hard to pick up some momentum. He's going defensive into turn 4. Let's see if we can go round the outside here. We have clear air, but Sergio blocks it off. And we're left to fester at the back here in last place in the dirty air of Sergio Perez, the absolute boat in the corners. Just nothing we can do. And we're just sitting behind him getting frustrated. This is one of the first times I've ever really had an experience like this where I'm literally stuck behind a car. From a challenging standpoint, I was absolutely loving this. But by the same token, I knew that my race was just going down the pan because I just couldn't get past this guy. But here we get a nice exit out of the final corner, and we finally get the move done. We expelled a lot of our battery to do that, but hopefully we can move on with our race now and clear him. If he gets back past me again, I swear down, I might just put him in the wall. And here we go on the next lap. I might actually have to eat my words because I don't really want to put him in the wall. And here he goes up the inside into turn 1. Sergio, there was space there kind of, and then he moved over a little bit, but who knows, I didn't really... It's kind of tightened to the apex, and we hold on. For P19, this is 19th place in the race we are fighting over in this Spanish Grand Prix. A bit of a wayward exit there, but I actually got a nicer run through the final chicane, and I was able to build a bit of a gap. But this time around, Sergio was a lot closer. He tries the move around the outside. We cover that off, and we hold on for P19, and now I'm first in line to attack the guys who haven't stopped yet. The likes of Kubica, Giovinazzi, and there's a couple of Toro Rossos as well who are doing one-stops. So this is the downside of having an early pit stop and also doing a two-stop versus people who qualified outside the top 10 and are also doing a one-stop. We have to kind of overtake these boats at the midpoint of this race. Whereas Daniel Ricciardo is a good 10-15 seconds in front of me. So I've lost a lot of touch with my teammate here. It's going to be tough to reel that back in this race. What I'm actually going to do is I'm actually going to extend this middle stint that we're running with here on the mediums. And I'm going to kind of lessen the load that the final set of tyres has to do towards the end of the race. At this point, it's looking ever more unlikely that I'm going to get points in this race. So I'm kind of banking on a safety car of some sort.
Only one stop to go. One stop left in this strategy. Pit window will open in 3 laps time. Pit window opens in 3 laps.
I'm banking on a safety car of some sort to come out, and if it does happen, I'll be on fresher tyres than what I would have been if I pit now, essentially. So if a safety car comes out, I'll have better pace and I'll be able to attack. But if a safety car doesn't come out, then either way you look at it, it's looking increasingly tough to get back in the points. This is a battle that's going on behind me. So Sergio now getting tangled up with a McLaren and a Haas. He's literally getting pinball between 2 cars, and he just about manages to come out on top. Meanwhile, I'm trying to chase down Sainz, who has freshly come out of the pits on mediums. I've lost DRS now, so that is fun. But the tyres are looking quite worn at this point, 50-odd%, and now we're in for our final set of medium tyres. Now, I'm not going to lie, I really considered switching to the hards for this final stint, but I thought I'd stick it out with the mediums and see how we unfold with this stint on this tyre. But it's quite strange. In games gone by, I would always hate the hardest compound. I would always opt to going for the 2 softest compounds. But on this game, I feel like the harder the tyre is, the more comfortable I am. This could be a Renault thing, but I get the sneaking suspicion that everyone kind of feels this way based on, you know, some whispers from feedback I've heard so far. But anyway, we got a nice done move on Russell there, around the outside into turn 10. We can now set our sights on Kvyat, who is on the hards. So anyone that you see on hards now, they are doing a 1-stop. Anyone on mediums are in the same boat as us and doing a 2-stop. And here comes Grosjean in the Haas. Up the inside. Shows the nose. I have to leave him space. I think we might hold on to this just about. And we do. So it's still P15 at the moment. It's always the Haases at the back end of the race that give me a bit of grief, just like in Australia. It was both of those guys really putting the pressure on. It's the same case once again. This is like literally a mirror image of Australia, except we're fighting over P17 and not P10. But I'm remaining optimistic because there is still a lot of one-stoppers who are going to fall back towards us, and we might be able to sneak a point or two if we're really lucky. And here comes Sergio once again. He's now switched to the mediums. He got fresher tyres than us because he was on hards in the previous stint. And yeah, it's given him a bit of an advantage for the run to the flag now. But I just want to get rid of this guy. He's so annoying in this race, but in a good way. I'm not complaining. I love the battle, but at the same time, man, just let me get on with my race. Lots of cars up in front. How many cars? 4. This will give us P12 if we can snap up all of these ones, but Grosjean in the Haas is looking the most threatening, and I'm going to have to play on some bad traffic for him if I'm going to get back past him once again. He's getting blocked in by the Force India. I think a Toro Rosso is just running to the back of him. He's lost a bit of his end plate on the left, and now that's going to throw a whole spanner into the works. Let's see if we can make the most of this. The AI can crap themselves sometimes when they're in a bit of traffic, and we're going to see if we can make the most of it. But the AI are very aggressive this year, and they will take gaps if they emerge. And speaking of gaps, we take one round the outside of Kvyat, and we manage to make the move stick. Very nice. Grosjean next, and he'll be looking to put a car between myself and him as quickly as possible. The Force India or Stroll, I think he's doing a one-stop, and his tyres are really starting to fall off the cliff now. Here goes Grosjean. Will he go inside? No, he goes to the outside. I thought about a move up the inside of both of them, but I thought I'd just follow Grosjean through. Seems like the smart play, and we will get that done. A bit of a back-end loss there as we tried to go around Stroll, and we get the move done. Some great battles today, it must be said. There is not a boring race in F1 2019 career mode so far. The AI really are livening things up this year, which is really refreshing to see. But I think Max Verstappen is out of the Grand Prix. We got a brief message on that last lap. We see him here, and that increases our chances of getting points today ever so slightly. But it looks like we might just about fall short. If we get Grosjean, and then if we get the next Toro Rosso, that'll give us P11, but there's a big air gap to, I think, Raikkonen, who is holding down the final points-paying position of the Spanish Grand Prix. Second track limits warning for this race, so we can't afford to do any more now. Otherwise, that will be a penalty. But things are ramping up here. Yellow flag. What's this for? Oh, it's Grosjean. Oh, he's got a problem. Okay, so the game knew that he had a problem before I knew he had a problem. He was fine on the run into turn 1, but as soon as he exited that corner, he's like, no. Okay, so, yeah, cool. P12, he was the danger man, and now we don't need to worry about him now for the rest of this race, and we can focus on Albon. 2 laps left to go in this race, and we're gonna fight so hard with the AI today. Consistency-wise, I feel like I've driven really well, but it looks like it's going to fall short of anything worthwhile. But let's get this for pride, shall we? Around the outside of Albon into turn 1. That's P11. And we are the first of the non-point finishers. We fight so hard for nothing. Unless, of course, there will be a late DNF, which I don't think there will be. Charles Leclerc has won the Spanish Grand Prix. I think Raikkonen has already crossed the line. So that relegates us to a big fat 0 against our name for this Spanish Grand Prix, despite driving actually really, really well. It seems like 110 AI is not for me.
All right, race over. Take care of the car on the way in.
Ferrari have really pulled it out of the bag today. It's a great win. Anthony Davidson, how do you think they were able to set themselves apart today?
Well, time management probably played quite a large role in the outcome of this one. As ever, it's not just about speed, it's all about maintaining that speed consistently over a stint, over a race distance. So being able to keep up the lap times while still being smooth on the controls and gentle on the tyres, that's really where the race was won today.
And here we are, a team that is no stranger to the podium, taking their place on top once again. A sublime race today, and a stunning win for Ferrari.
There he is. Charles gets the win for Ferrari. And for us, it is back to the drawing board once again. So what I've learned is that 110 AI is pretty darn ridiculous. And what I've also learned is that starting on the soft compound tyre is quite the disadvantage, it seems. Because in previous races, we've started on mediums and we've been able to fly our way through the field. So going forward, I will be running at around 105 to 107-ish AI. If we qualify inside the top 10 and then leave it on 105, I feel like we'll be set for a normal but quite exciting race, if that makes sense. So, that's where I'm at the moment. As I get better at the game, as I find setups, then I will have reason to increase the difficulty. But at the moment, I feel like we are getting challenged quite hard, even on 105 to 107, which we have been running the last few races anyway. But I do put the strategy down to getting us some awesome results at times. But anyway, drivers, constructors, we're looking pretty good, pretty solid there for Renault, sitting nicely there in P5. Racing points are going to be our big challenges this season. As you saw by this race, they're just a massive thorn in my side. So I'll be eagerly trying to improve the power of this car so we can defend a little bit more wholesomely in the races and attack a little bit better, because at the moment we have to work really, really hard to get some moves done, but it's very, very satisfying when we do get those moves done nonetheless. Hopefully you guys are enjoying career mode. It certainly is a challenge. That's what I asked for last year. We seem to be getting that challenge, and I am absolutely loving it. I love that there's still room for improvement for me to crank up the difficulty even more. Well, going forward, back up to 110, so I'm loving it. I hope you guys are too. The AI are more aggressive, and yeah, it just promotes really good racing. But anyway, we're heading off for the next race. In the next episode, we're going to be going to Monaco, which is a bit of a favorite of mine. So let's see what the pace is like there, with the interestingness of the AI's form. We could be on pole, or we could be in last in qualifying. I really don't know, but what I do know is it's going to be an exciting race, seeing the AI try and muscle their way past each other around those tight streets. It will be very, very interesting. Upgrade wise, we've gone for the major weight reduction upgrade. That will be on the car in time for France, but apart from that, I think we'll be targeting power upgrades, and then heading towards like your Silverstones, Hungaries. We'll hopefully get the major downforce upgrades on the car in time for those races when we really need it. But that's it from me today. To round off this video, I'll leave you guys to enjoy the highlights mode, which I've shown in the online side of things, but now you can see it in the career mode sense. Some of the slow-mo shots you get from this are absolutely amazing. But one thing I do have to say is apologies about my replay cameras. For some reason on OBS, they're just looking a little bit jittery, but on my screen, on my game, it's absolutely fine. For whatever reason, there might be some kind of optimization issue for the PC, or maybe something in my settings is causing it to go wrong a little bit. So hopefully I can fix it up. Hopefully you guys are enjoying the career mode. I'll continue to do daily uploads of career mode if I can, as long as I can. So you should expect Monaco in your sub boxes sometime tomorrow. That's it from me today. It'll really help me if you guys could leave a like, subscribe, all that good stuff. And I'll see you guys for a brand new video very soon.